Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Alert! Yet another state abolishes taxes on gold and silver bullion. Let's explore! This is quite exciting news. As most of you are aware, gold and silver are money. That's right. In fact, let's take a look at what the Constitution says in Article 1, Section 10. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. So there you go. So that is it. So in other words, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title or nobility. Now, that is what the states do. So in other words, states cannot use anything but gold and silver coin as a tender of payment of debts. And now, does it make sense to tax those metals for those of us who live within those states? I think not, because, the Constitution recognized it as money, gold and silver coin, as tender of payment of these debts. And so therefore, especially when you have coins made of gold and silver, and, no matter what nation or what form they take, but especially in the form of gold and silver eagles, good grief. It's crazy to think that we have to pay tax on something that the government makes, and especially in this case, that they are denominated coins that just happen to be made of gold and silver, and yet we have to pay a tax on them. And it's absolutely crazy. I just made a purchase of the brand new Type 2 silver American Eagles. I'll post a link to that video where you can see the unboxing of it. Dangerous unboxing of it, but an unboxing of it nonetheless. Many of you missed that video, and I'll put a link to it at the end screen of this video, but nonetheless I had to pay tax on those, and it's crazy. But there is some movement and there's some headway where these metals, no matter what form they take, are finally being recognized by some of these state legislatures as beautiful, shiny money. That's right. Quite exciting indeed. In fact, this Kitco article likens it to dominoes continuing to fall. And you may remember I did a video earlier in the year about a state that has removed taxes on them. Let's take a look here. Ohio is removing sales tax on gold and silver bullion. Gold and silver have taken another step towards afford to regain their former luster as monetary metals after Ohio became the 41st state to remove sales tax from bullion purchases. On July the 1st, Governor Mike DeWine signed into legislation House Bill 110, which restores the right of Ohio investors, savers, and small businesses to acquire precious metals without being slapped with sales and use taxes. So that's good. And the legislation was backed by State Representative Chris Jordan and Riordan McLean. The thing is 41st state to remove sales tax. That's a lot of states. I didn't realize there were that many. And it may be how they're quantifying that is maybe some states that have a cap on taxes. In other words, if you spend over $1,000, there's no tax. I think they should remove it completely. These efforts are common sense. We should not be taxing money. Boom, said Jordan in a statement. I agree with that. Very well said. This form of double taxation discourages Ohioans from buying precious metals in the state and drives their business elsewhere. Ohio precious metal dealers can now better compete with our neighboring states as well as on the online marketplace. This exemption will allow Ohio to attract coin shows, which generate significant amounts of economic activity, he added. The newly minted law also received wide grassroots support from organizations including the National Coin and Bullion Association, the Sound Money Defense League, Money Metals Exchange, and Ron Paul's Campaign for Liberty. Earlier this spring, in testimony before the state Senate and House as the legislation was being debated, Sound Money Defense League Policy Director J.P. Cortez said that the bill levels the playing field between gold and other investment assets like equities and exchange-traded products. He noted that the state does not charge taxes on the purchase of stocks, bonds, or other financial instruments. Cortez added that the taxes penalized average consumers who want to use precious metals to protect their wealth. Precious metal investors are purchasing precious metals to preserve their wealth against the damaging effects of inflation. You know, it's amazing. I'm so glad that that's being mentioned as a reason. It is a wealth preservation tool. Inflation especially harms the little guy, including pensioners, retirees on fixed incomes, wage earners, and savers, he said. And, it's welcome. It's a way to educate the public as well about what gold and silver do. The fact that they are indeed money, even if they aren't used as currency. They are definitely monetary instruments. In a prepared statement, Cortez welcomed the updated law. However, he added that more work is still needed to be done as 9 states continue to tax gold and silver bullion. Ohio has ended the unfair practice of taxing citizens who are simply exchanging one form of money for another. The 9 states that still tax the monetary metals are increasingly embarrassing themselves. The national tide has turned decisively against the foolish practice. In many of these states that have Democrat legislatures, it's going to be a tall order to try to get them to see the light on this. Ohio is the second state this year to remove its sales tax from precious metal purchases. In May, you heard me report about Arkansas passed similar legislation, ending a 3-year odyssey for some lawmakers. The new law will take effect on October the 1st, 2021. So here are the 9 states that continue to tax gold and silver purchases, including Vermont, New Jersey, Maine, Tennessee, Kentucky, Wisconsin, New Mexico, Mississippi, and Hawaii. The District of Columbia also taxes physical gold and silver purchases. Well, I think they must be missing. I know California does as well, Virginia, Maryland. So I think that they are being a little bit over optimistic here. I think what it is these states still charge tax. So I don't know. I have to look and see what the law is for Ohio, but there should not be taxes on any precious metals from a 1/10 of an ounce all the way up. My guess is they're probably including states in there that have caps. In other words, if you spend over $1,000 or over $1,500, then you are exempt. But if you spend under that, and a lot of people can't afford to spend $1,000 or $1,500, so every time they buy a Silver Eagle, they have to pay tax. So I think it is quite unfortunate, and I think this is a little bit of an overreach because there's a lot more than 9 states that charge taxes for gold and silver. So I'd like to see this law. Maybe the law is just putting an exemption if you spend a certain amount of money. But nonetheless, it's still a step in the positive direction, but by no means does it mean that there's a domino effect happening here. Sound Money Defense League noted that the 9 holdout states, Hawaii, Maine, Mississippi, New Jersey, Tennessee, and Wisconsin, have recently considered measures to remove the sales tax in their states. A bill has been introduced to remove taxes at the federal level. In March, U.S. Representative from West Virginia Alex Mooney introduced the Monetary Metals Tax Neutrality Act, H.R. 2284, bill in the House. According to the bill, the proposed legislation will remove capital gains, losses, or any other type of federal income calculation on gold and silver bars and coins. So there you have it. They're very interesting. So I'd like to, maybe one day I'll look again and see how these taxes are being collected, and what the bill is on this bill and how it is. It's a House Bill 110, which restores the right of Ohio investors to acquire precious metals without being slapped with sales and use taxes. Hopefully that means for any amount of money. It would be nice to see, but One thing that we know is not true is that there is the 9 states. There's many more than 9 states that are still charging sales tax on precious metals. And so we have a long ways to go, but it's a step in the right direction. But there you have it. If you haven't seen my video from earlier today, the algorithm has missed it completely, almost completely. But I unboxed the brand new Type 2 Silver Eagle coin, and you can see I show a fairly good close-up look at it. I'm going to do future videos showing it and comparing it with the old Type 1 version. But check that video out if you haven't had a chance. I'll post it probably in a pinned comment as well. And I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch this video, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.